Queen Elizabeth I reportedly drank from a goblet made of unicorn horn to protect herself from poison. Not symbolically, not as a myth. She believed it worked. But there's a problem. That unicorn horn almost certainly wasn't from a unicorn at all. It was likely a narwhale tusk, and that one object opens the door to one of the strangest luxury economies in European history. For centuries, European elites believed unicorn horn, also called alicorn, could detect poison, neutralize toxins, and save lives. Kings owned it, physicians prescribed it, merchants sold it for absurd sums. So the question isn't just, were unicorns real? It's, how did an entire civilization treat unicorn horn like medicine? And what exactly were they buying? In medieval and Renaissance Europe, poison wasn't a fairy tale threat. It was a constant fear at court. If you were powerful, dinner wasn't dinner. It was risk management. And unicorn horn was marketed as the ultimate protection. Put in cups to detect poison. Shaved into drinks as an antidote. Displayed like a holy object that could keep you alive. This wasn't fringe superstition. It lived at the crossroads of medicine, religion, and status. And it wasn't built on experiments. It was built on authority. Ancient writers, bestiaries, and centuries of repetition. The logic was simple. The unicorn was pure, therefore its horn purified. Once that idea entered medical texts, it became knowledge. Now here's the detail that matters. Unicorn horn wasn't some vague charm. It was a specific object people could point to. Long, spiraled, impressive. Exactly what you imagine unicorn horn should look like. It was mounted in gold, displayed in treasuries, turned into scepters and drinking vessels. Owning one didn't just say, I'm protected. It said, I can afford protection. By the late Middle Ages, unicorn horn became a luxury commodity, moving through trade networks like spices, silk, and gemstones. It passed from merchants to nobles to monarchs, and once you paid for it, you were emotionally invested in it being real. Because questioning it wasn't harmless skepticism. Questioning it meant, maybe your antidote is useless. So where did these unicorn horns actually come from? The far north, Arctic waters, the ocean. Narwhales, whales with long spiraled tusks, were hunted and traded south. To someone in Europe who had never seen a narwhale, that tusk looked like the real thing. And once narwhale tusks entered the market, the unicorn horn economy basically ran itself. Rare supply, massive demand, and a story everybody already wanted to believe. Even if doubts existed, admitting the truth came with a cost. You'd been fooled. Your medicine was wrong. Your protection might not work. So the myth survived, not because it was proven, but because it was useful. Eventually, that started to change. Exploration expanded. Natural history improved. People began asking, where does this object come from? Not just, what does it symbolize? And when scholars traced unicorn horn back to narwhales, the magic collapsed. Unicorn horn faded from medicine, though the unicorn never left the imagination. So were unicorns ever real? Not as magical creatures roaming European forests. But unicorn horn was very real. Real enough to shape medicine, royal behavior, and a high-end market that ran on fear. And that's the real lesson. Sometimes the myth isn't real, but the belief absolutely is. If you lived in a world where poison felt inevitable, Would you drink from a unicorn horn? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoy historical mysteries where belief, power, and evidence collide, like and subscribe. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and never stop seeking the truth. Thank you for watching.